I was raised in what I think you would call like an ideal family, right? 2 parents, siblings. But you know, my upbringing is one, the DMV. It's like I feel like people don't it's the DMV. It's like that's a big influence as far as like who I am. You know, I don't think I go a day without cooking somebody. Find a nigga up, it's second nature to me. It's kind of like it just gets instilled into you at a young age. So it's just like there's things that just come with the territory. But just my personal upbringing, like me being in the house, I have a father who's in the Nation of Islam, or who was in the Nation of Islam, and I had a mother who was raised Christian. And then I have books in my house. We had a big bookshelf that has all these, you know, books on everything from real shit to fake shit, you know, fiction, nonfiction, whatever. And I read everything. I read the subjective, the objective, the lies, the truth. I read everything. And I feel like when you do that, it makes it hard to deny reality, because you kind of start knowing what real shit is, and then you start seeing how people disassociate shit. You know, I'm gonna tie it back to music, but in the music industry, you know what I'm saying, as an artist, it's the same thing. You know, people disassociate and shit, but in what I'm doing, it's my upbringing plays a big role in it. Some of my earliest memories is my mom teaching me how to drop a needle, like on like a 78 or a 45 or whatever. And listening to those old records like Smokey Robinson, you know what I'm saying, Gregory Isaacs, or Shaka Khan, you know what I'm saying, Gladys Knight and the Pips, you know what I'm saying, the Temptations, whomever. Like, we had endless. My mom has the most ridiculous album collection, and I'm willing to, like, the regular, like, you're not like some nigga who just out here collecting records. Compare your mom's record collection with my mom has endless records. But listening to all that shit and then growing up and making music, you know, you can say that you're original, but you're always pulling from that stuff. You know, it plays a big role, and I feel like I had a fair chance to have a broad upbringing as far as like music, and I wasn't forced to listen to one thing. I listened to everything, but I definitely listened to all the black greats, for sure. But I listened to everything, you know, just everything, white or black, it didn't matter. Just listen. And now that I'm an adult, you know, in the music industry, making music, when I'm putting out stuff, I see the ways that people bite off shit, and it's usually through samples, and it's like, man, but these people, you can sample music, but that ain't music theory. That's you taking a piece of the pie. I'm trying to make the recipe. I'm trying to redo the shit. All my runs, shit I say, you know, sometimes the lingo. My upbringing was a lot of good music, but like I said, a lot of double-sided religious stuff that me going to the what's those things that fucking I was about to say Shaka Khan, Farrakhan, you know what I'm saying, had in DC, all the Million Man marches. I went to the ones in the 90s and like in the 2000s, like the early ones. It's like first time having the bean pound, all that shit. I used to have photos of Farrakhan and Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis and all these people, Martin Luther King, like big posters, Malcolm X. Like as I talk, I could see it. And I used to read these posters alongside the books. And it's like, from hearing that stuff and then just going to the Million Man March, and just not just Farrakhan, like it's not about, but just being around that mindset of people who aren't with the shits, it inevitably made a mark on me to it. Like I said, I can't deny certain reality. I learned the hard way that when you just come out trying to make rebel music and just talk hard shit and just whatever you think that you about to say, the consumers is not with it. And it's not saying don't do it, do what you love, yeah, but it's like people are less likely, depending on what that's a market for it, people are less likely to buy into that shit. I had to start going back to my mom's music and making like love shit, making world shit, people shit that just a kid can sing, anyone can relate to. Because the stuff that I know that I'm talking about, that I'm eager to put in the music, is less acceptable, and it just doesn't translate as well, you know. And it's like, I don't want to limit myself, but I also know that people are comfortable where they are. And you can't just start talking about shit in the government or shit in world history in the music. You got to put that thing in a way where it's like pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie. But just make this shit like apple pie or something. You gotta make it deliverable, because just hitting people with the truth, it just is. I've learned it's not just for me, hasn't been the best way to break into, you know, getting new fans and stuff.